Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Aichi in, I don't think you can quite see it, Japan. You can't see the full name, but we're in Japan tonight. Aichi is one of the many prefectures of Japan. The capital and largest city, of course, being Nagoya. You can see right there. It's pretty much all this area is like the Nagoya city area, metropolitan area. That's what I'm looking for. Being a person who's been into J-pop for too long. Whenever I hear Nagoya, I think that that's the airport that celebrities use when they don't want to be photographed in Tokyo. And Nagoya is a very important city because, make sure you can see on my map here. Yeah, Tokyo's right here. And Osaka is right here. Two very, very huge city areas. Nagoya is right in the middle of that. So very important spot. It's almost kind of sort of in the middle of the island of Honshu as well. Kind of like the middle south of Honshu. So, important spot on Japan. We'll talk more about Nagoya and its history. The cities you can see around here are very, very busy, bustling, big industrial centers. It's not on my map, but we'll look at it on Google Earth. The city of Toyota is about right here. And in America, we say Toyota. It sounds completely different in American English, but yes, that's where they make Toyota cars. Or if we switch back to Japanese, it's Toyota. Toyota is right there. So very, very big industry center. And as you can see, this corner doesn't really have anything going on in it. And that's because this is the mountainous forested area. Mountains run down the spine of Honshu here. They overlap into Aichi right about here. And it's very thick, very beautiful forest. Lots of little villages, but not nearly as industrialized as the city area here, right? They try to preserve the forest. It's very important to Japanese culture, keeping their forests beautiful. You can see the Bay of Ise is right here. And this is the Bay of Mikawa right here. Very important to shipping and things. Lots and lots of shipping right here. Also interesting, just a side note, I don't think we're going to look at it on Google Earth, but Japan's Legoland is in the south of Nagoya. It's on a little island there. Pretty cool. In the Bay of Ise. So let's get into the very interesting history of this area because, of course, being Japan, it has a very long and interesting history. There's lots of really cool archaeological sites in Aichi. There's even some kofuns, which are really fascinating. They were kind of sort of burial mounds, but they are keyhole shaped, round, and then kind of trapezoidal at the bottom. Exactly keyhole shaped. I saw a picture of one in Nagoya where the round part they turned into a baseball field, which is kind of sad, but very Japanese, right? The kofuns are really interesting, and if I can find it on Google Earth, again, Nagoya's huge, I'll look around, but of course it's home to many, many, many different shrines, but one of them is the Atsuta Shrine, Very old shrine dating back to like the year 100. And what's important about that is that it is home to the sword of Kusanagi. Which let me get into a little bit of Japanese mythology history. Back then they really overlap. The very first emperor of Japan, Jimmu, his story is that he went to the gods and they gave him 3 treasures. They gave him a jewel, a mirror, and a sword to kind of come back to Japan and prove to the people that he is descended from the gods and he is the ruler of all of Japan, I should say. That sword is apparently at the Atsuta Shrine, which is really cool. I wonder where the jewel and the mirror is, but I'm sure they're somewhere, you know. There is when I did find it, I was wandering around Nagoya on Google Earth, and they have a little sword statue outside, kind of looks like the Master Sword. But I was like, what's up with that? And then I read, I'm like, oh, that is the Master Sword. So Nagoya has always been a place that's been busy, bustling. Again, it's very well placed on the island, right? Actually, Nagoya was the birthplace of Minamoto Yoritomo, which very important person in Japanese history. He was the very first shogun. So the emperor rules over all of Japan. The shoguns were in charge of the military, keeping everything in line, and it got to a point in about the 1100s, 1200s that the shoguns had more political influence than the emperor. So for a long, long time, the emperor was just sitting in his castle, probably over in Kyoto here, while the shoguns were running the country. Minamoto was the first one to be the supreme shogun. Like, he was the shogun who was running the country more so than the emperor was. And also very interesting, Nagoya is also the birthplace of 3 other huge important people in Japanese history, and they are Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. So, in Japan, right, the shoguns ruling overall, there are lots of smaller kind of like leaders under the shogun called the daimyo. The daimyo are the people ruling over each territory. The shogun rules over the daimyo. Lots of daimyos rebelled. There were lots of power grabs and things. And Japan essentially shattered. It splintered into many different little areas that were all at war with each other. And this is appropriately known as the Warring States period. So Oda Nobunaga was born here in Nagoya, apparently at Nagoya Castle, which we'll look at on Google Earth, of course. And he was born right smack dab in the middle, the Warring States era. Lots and lots of battles from this time happened in this area, which includes Aichi. He really rose up to the task of fighting and had a powerful team of generals, 2 of them being Toyotomi and Tokugawa. And he essentially, through many battles, including a huge one that happened in Aichi in Nagoya called the Battle of Okehazama in 1560, that's where we are in history, he was pretty much the one to unite everything back together and piece Japan back together like a puzzle. He pretty much got most of the island. But he died. And he appointed his general Toyotomi Hideyoshi to replace him. Hideyoshi did a lot to reunify pretty much the rest of Japan. But he also died. So he had a very young son. He told his little circle of friends, including Tokugawa, he said, please take care of my son until he's old enough to rule. And Tokugawa was like, oh, take care. Certainly, I will take care of your son. I'll take care of your son. And Tokugawa Ieyasu became the supreme head shogun. And by now, Japan was one entity, right? And Tokugawa's dynasty that stretched for, 300 years would rule over Japan, kind of with an iron fist. There is lots of policies of isolation during this time. Very little contact with Europeans. There was contact, I believe, with the Dutch at this time mostly, where they got muskets, which really helped Nobunaga to win all the battles, right? So they knew how dangerous outside influence would be. So Tokugawa and the Tokugawa shogunate didn't allow any Westerners to touch Japan pretty much until the Americans forced them to reopen. And once the country did reopen, industry came into the area. It wasn't so much about farming, it was about manufacturing. The area here in Aichi, of course, they were doing lots of farming. It was kind of a Japan thing. If you weren't farming rice with your land, then what are you doing? But there was also a lot of cotton being grown in Aichi. So once manufacturing came to Japan, it became a huge textile industry. The Meiji Restoration, which kind of flipped Japan on its head and said, we are now going to be a Western nation in the Eastern world, introduced lots of technology industries to Aichi and the rest of Japan, but Aichi was kind of like the heart of that. Again, cars, we've got Toyota over there, lots of machinery being built here, making Japan a modern country. And so it went up through World War II, when I think it was in 1943, was the first time Nagoya and the Aichi area was first bombed by the Americans. Of course, it ramped up in early 1945 when it was kind of clear that Japan was losing World War II, and the United States made it a point to firebomb every single prefecture, so Aichi was no exception. Nagoya got pretty firebombed. At one point, Nagoya Castle was burnt down. Most of it was burnt down. Pretty devastating. But it's been rebuilt. And what's also interesting is that one of those airplanes that flew and dropped bombs over Aichi was the Enola Gay. They used Aichi as practice for Hiroshima. Obviously, they didn't drop an atomic bomb in Aichi, but they used Aichi to practice flying the Enola Gay over and back so that they could do Hiroshima. Very interesting. Of course, being Japan, they bounced right back like Japan has always done throughout its history. Whenever you knock them down, they go 2 steps taller, right? That didn't make any sense, but you know what I'm saying. They bounced back in a big way, rebuilt the area, and now it's a huge, thriving city. Lots of industrial areas, lots of like big city housing tracts, lots of sports, but also lots of shrines and temples, and of course the Nagoya Castle complex, which why don't we take a look at that? Let me grab my tablet. Over here in the corner. There we go. Okay, so there. Okay. Here's my tablet. My atlas is in a very precarious place, but I think you can see pretty much all of it. Okay. It's a little crooked, but I can't fix it without making a lot of noise. Here is Aichi right here. There's Nagoya. You can see just how big this metropolitan area is and how it kind of bleeds over onto the coast. Bleeds up into Tokyo up here. Yokohama, Tokyo. And sort of trickles down into Osaka, right? So Nagoya's right in the middle of all that. Let me just highlight Nagoya real quick. So I can zoom out so you can see exactly where we are if you're not quite sure where Japan is on planet Earth. There's Asia. There's the Pacific Ocean, and here are the islands of Japan. And like I said, pretty much almost in the middle of Honshu, right? About as middle as you can get without being like in the forest. Let's take a look at the slideshow, see if there's any interesting pictures. Big industrial area, lots of things to do, places to go, work to do, lots of industrial buildings, as you can see. Looks like a hospital. A little Ferris wheel on this building. Isn't that interesting? Little shopping areas here. I just love, there's just something very quaint and charming about like metropolitan Japan and their little shopping areas. It's not like anything else. I grew up in San Francisco, and they have an adorable Japantown where everything's structured like this. It's so great. Indoor shopping. Lots of indoor shopping. Get some Ray-Bans. this is Legoland for sure. Look at this Empire State Building and Tokyo Tower. More Legoland places. How cool is that? Not Legoland. Beautiful little park there. A shrine entrance here. Beautiful fountain. You can see everything all lit up. And of course, the beautiful sakura cherry blossom trees. Very amazing city. Let's look deeper. Let's see what we've got here. Down here's Legoland, but the pictures aren't that great. Let's take a look at Nagoya Castle, which I kind of have to remember where it is because this place is huge. I think it's right here. Yeah, bingo. What's great about Google Earth in Japan, pretty much the entirety of Japan is in 3D. So you kind of got to let it load a bit. There we go. So you can really get a good bird's eye view. Here is Nagoya Castle, which we're going to talk about a little bit in tomorrow's video. We're going to talk about Tokugawa Ieyasu. Looks like it's being a little retrofitted there. Now, Nagoya Castle is on this huge wall here. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, all lit up. That's lovely. The view there. Okay, that's a good picture. On this huge wall, which was very characteristic of the Warring States era because they obviously needed a way to defend their castle from invaders, and that really helped. It was built, and I want to say the 13 to 1400s. But Tokugawa Ieyasu built it up. It was one of his big work centers. I think for the most part he worked in Edo, which is now Tokyo. But this being his home turf, he also lived and worked in Nagoya Castle. Isn't that incredible? Look at all the stonework there. Yes, amazing. Very, very beautiful little complex here. Every castle has a shrine, little areas for the lesser people who needed to work at the castle to live in. So every Japanese castle has this kind of complex kind of thing to it. So yeah, like I said, pretty much destroyed during World War II. It was targeted specifically. There's really sad pictures of it burning down, but obviously they remembered what it looked like. They had the plans to rebuild it, so it's all rebuilt. Right there on the river. How neat is that? Little moat around it. So cool. Let's see what else we can find. I've looked at all these places trying to see if I can find some cool things to show you, but this kind of gives you an idea of just how sprawling this city is. And Nagoya is the 3rd largest city in Japan, and look at this place. It's absolutely massive. The Nagoya City Museum I'm not going to show you, but they have a big Snoopy Peanuts exhibit, which is really cute. Nothing to do with the history. So there's the university, the zoo here, really neat. Apparently everything I read about the area, they were like, you've got to go to the zoo. So apparently it's a really nice zoo. The internet really recommends it. And let me just kind of find a shrine to show you. They're everywhere. Let's do this. Oh, that's a temple. Let's do a shrine. Shrines are very distinct in Japan. Little entrance there. Beautiful trees. Every shrine has their own little quirks, but they have a lot of the same things inside. There's the entrance. Entering the actual shrine. Little places to, that's where you keep your shoes. Places to kind of pray, meditate. There's always a shop where you can buy little charms. It looks like you can buy some paper cranes and paper crafts there. There's usually an area where you can buy good luck charms, places to leave wishes. Beautiful, beautiful trees. Not sure what that is. These are definitely lucky charms though, so that must be the window where you buy your charms. Actual shrine right there with some guardian dogs protecting it. Very cool. The Atori Gate, very old looking one. And yeah, Japanese shrines are very, very beautiful. I don't know if I'm going to find the old shrine with the sword. So let me type in El Salvador, still up there. Atsuta, Nagoya, Aichi, Japan. We were so close. The Atsuta Ward. Do you think we can find the actual temple? There's a garden. This looks promising. Atsuta Jingu Shinto Shrine. So yes, there's an old tree like an Inuyasha. That's beautiful. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's really neat. The interior. You can see this old woodwork here. Beautiful old shrine. I don't think... Oh, look at these old buildings. My goodness. This little guy. You can find him on Animal Crossing. You can get this statue from Red on Animal Crossing. Roosting. Very cool. You can tell that this is an old place, right? But this isn't the place with the sword. That just kind of goes to show you. What's that? Bunkaden Treasure House. Museum. Oh, that's the kind of... We were already there. There's the Inuyasha tree. But yeah. It's in this area somewhere. Let's look at this garden before we go. Shiro Tori Garden. Beautiful. Come on. There we go. Whoa, that's neat. Oh, how beautiful. Looks like they've got some little lanterns there floating. Oh, pretty. It's just something about Japanese parks, right? Yep. They're doing a light festival here at the park. Kind of a, like a commemoration. Like you light one for someone that you've lost. What an absolutely gorgeous park this is. Koi fish, of course. How lovely. You could just get lost here. Just sit and think. A little slice of heaven in the big, big city, right? So gorgeous. Okay, let's move on. I want to show you other things. Let's head over to Toyota. Here we go. Toyota. And you can see from above the manufacturing areas here, and there's lots to see. Actually, this Toyota museum is really cool. Lots of kind of older cars and some newer looking cars. Racing cars. Sleek looking car. Ooh, very fancy. Lexus. Look at this guy. That guy will zip along, won't he? Wow. Amazing. So, oh, I hate that though. That's the worst. No, it has ears. No, thank you. No, thank you. That one's a cool color. I think it's an electric car. That's neat. The exterior. Ooh, very chrome. One of the robots they use to build the cars. Very fancy. Oh gosh. Evil robot. Not evil, but too intelligent for my liking. But anyway, what's also interesting is that there is a huge garden complex here in Toyota. You can see this is all of it. It is a huge like park, and not just like park like we saw before, but like a family play place with like little rides. You can see the golf courses, lots of different activities to do here. Ceramic museum. But what I really want to show you, hopefully I'm going to be able to pull it up. Dog park. Let's see. It's up here. There is a Ghibli park here. It's relatively new. I think it just opened not long ago. But it's not like the theme park, like the big theme park. It's a place you can walk around and pretend that you're in Spirited Away. stand up there and look out at the beautiful park. Sit on some Totoro or cat buses here. Lots of cute little homes in this park as well. And lots of cute little, oh my gosh, imagine. You can take your picture in the cat bus. You can pretend you're a ridey. Very cool, isn't it? There's Ponyo. We love Studio Ghibli, so that is a place you can explore in Aichi. Let's check out the forested area over here. You can see the big difference, right? Make sure we don't leave the prefecture, though. Let's see. Kids Nature Forest 1 Park. Beautiful. 1 Park. Very cool. But I want to show you the forest, Make sure that we're not leaving the prefecture. Yep, we're still definitely in Aichi. Okay, good. I don't want to go too far north. Let's look at Kaori Gorge. Now this is what I'm talking about. Beautiful, beautiful forests with the trees changing and the seasons. Oh my gosh, is this not? It looks like a painting, right? Like Bob Ross could never replicate this, and that's no shade to Bob Ross. It's just too beautiful. So gorgeous. This kind of, oh, it's cute. The little, someone brought their little fox to explore. Isn't that nice? These absolutely gorgeous forested areas where you can hike around and just be one with nature. A big Japanese pastime is just walking around in nature and just absorbing everything. It's so neat. So that's what that area is like. I'm sure there are other things I wanted to show you in this area, but there's just too many. Normally my videos are too short when I'm doing ASMR around the world, but in this case there's just too much to show you around Nagoya. Just look at it from above. How dense this is. This is all farming area over here, you can tell. Those are definitely farms. So that's interesting, isn't it? It just kind of bleeds into the city here. Let's look at this Kannon temple real quick. I didn't look at this slideshow. But Kannon is a really beautiful, very peaceful goddess. I want to see if there's a Kannon statue to show you. You ring the bell there. Oh, here we go. Whoa. Very angry looking god there, isn't it? How lovely. Pinsuru. Alright. I promise I'm going to end it after this. Oh, cute. So I was reading on various websites, and since this is like the heart of like samurai shogun country, there's lots of cool like shows you can see with like ninja reenactments and samurai reenactments. They call them cosplays, but I think that's just kind of a poor translation, because it's not quite cosplay, is it? There's Nagoya Airport. Lots of museums you can see here. Of course, Google Earth wants to show me what I want to see, so it shows me sports, kids' places, and museums. But there is so much to see. The Sweets Castle, yeah, that's a candy shop for sure. Let me see this real quick. Museum Meiji Mura, open air museum. Trolleys, stuff from the Meiji era. That's cool. Kind of wanted to find places that show you all the samurai stuff, but alas, I suppose there's just so much. There was, I saw it on here and I went past it. We're too far this way. Museum of Flight there. Let's see real quick. I said I was going to end it and then I didn't. Whoops, there's the castle, so it's over here somewhere. There's the shrines we saw. I suppose not. It was the Tokugawa Museum, but there weren't really many good pictures, but there were some cool, like, samurai armors there. That was really cool, but I can't find it because this place is so big. Oh well, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But I'm gonna end it there before I just spend. I've already spent like an hour on Google Earth looking around Nagoya. It's the coolest place. So I'm gonna end it there before this becomes a 2-hour video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing because I'm going to every little corner of the world. Next, we're going to Samoa. Very excited for that. So please subscribe so you don't miss out. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a very good night. Good night.